The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council was silent. For the first time in 1,000 years, none of the delegates dared to speak. Their silver eyes flicked nervously between one another, unsure who would take the risk of breaking the quiet. The reason for their fear was simple. The message had arrived. The humans had spoken. A blue hologram floated above the central podium. It was the seal of Earth's newly formed United Command. The words beneath it were short, direct, and colder than the void itself. You took our people. You destroyed our home. Now we come for justice. The council members exchanged uneasy glances. Across the galaxy, they had underestimated many species, but never had a primitive world risen from ruin with such speed and rage. Humanity, only recently invited into the council's fold, had once been seen as an experiment, a chance to test if a young race could handle the politics of the stars. But the council had gone too far. It began with an accident, or so they had called it. A council mining fleet had encroached upon the Sol system, ignoring treaties, draining Jupiter's upper atmosphere for rare elements. When Earth's Navy protested, the council dismissed them as emotional, calling them too young to understand galactic necessity. A few days later, 3 orbital stations vanished, obliterated in silent flashes. Thousands died. Earth's oceans boiled in places where debris fell from orbit. The council blamed pirates. The humans knew better. What the council didn't know was that humans had learned something powerful during their short time among the stars. They had learned how to adapt. At first, Earth's leaders tried diplomacy. They sent envoys, begged for justice, pleaded for accountability. The council turned them away every time, brushing them aside like dust. In their arrogance, they thought humans would simply fade into history, broken and silent. But humans never stayed down for long. Across the Sol colonies, the anger grew. Factories worked day and night. Military academies overflowed. Deep beneath the lunar surface, secret shipyards began forging something new, warships unlike any seen before. They were built not for beauty or ceremony, but for retribution. For decades, the council ignored the quiet buildup. They thought humanity had been cowed. Then the first storm came. A patrol fleet on the council's border vanished. Weeks later, another fleet disappeared near the trade routes of Varen's Reach. Wreckage floated silently in space. Melted hulls twisted like clay. The few survivors spoke of ships cloaked in darkness, moving faster than sensors could follow. No insignias, no signatures. Just whispers in the comms before destruction. For Earth, the council called an emergency meeting demanding explanations. None could be found. Their records showed no known race with such speed or stealth. But the truth was simple. Humanity had evolved. In the shadows of their grief, they had turned their pain into power. When the council finally realized what was happening, it was already too late. The humans revealed themselves with brutal honesty. Their fleet emerged from hyperspace above the council's central world. Thousands of black-armored warships surrounding the skies like a storm of steel. Their flagship, the Eternal Resolve, sent one message: justice comes. The council's defense grid activated instantly, firing beams of light across the void. The human ships didn't flinch. They moved with impossible precision, each one controlled by an AI co-linked to human captains who thought as one. Every attack the council launched was countered, redirected, absorbed. Within minutes, the skies were filled with wreckage. Down on the planet's surface, panic spread. Civilians ran through shining streets while the council's guards tried to calm them. The once proud rulers of the galaxy now trembled before the very race they had mocked. The human commander addressed the chamber through a live transmission. His uniform bore no rank, only the crest of Earth. His voice was calm, emotionless, but every word carried a weight that shook the room. You called us savages. You said we were not ready for the stars. You were right. We were not ready for your kind of cruelty. But we learned, and now you will learn what it means to cross humanity. The council tried to reason with him, offering reparations, territory, even seats of power. But humanity didn't want riches. They wanted the truth. They wanted the ones responsible for Jupiter's destruction to answer for their crimes. Under pressure, the council revealed the truth. A faction within their ranks, wealthy corporate lords, had authorized the mining fleet's actions. They had destroyed the human stations to hide their thefts, assuming no one would dare challenge them. Humanity's reply was swift. Then justice will be exacted upon them. Within days, Earth's forces struck. They bypassed defenses, using gravitational slingshot drives no one had ever seen before. Entire worlds that belonged to the guilty faction were seized without warning. Their fleets crumbled before the human advance, and yet humanity didn't annihilate them. They captured the leaders and held trials, broadcast across the galactic network for every species to see. The galaxy watched as the humans presented evidence, testimony, and undeniable truth. They did what the Council had never done. They upheld real justice. And for the first time, billions across the stars saw humanity not as savages, but as something greater. As the trials ended, the human commander spoke again, this time to all species. We will not rule you. We will not enslave you. But if anyone ever threatens our home again, they will find no mercy. We have learned what mercy costs. The galaxy changed that day. The Council's arrogance shattered. Dozens of worlds began demanding reforms inspired by humanity's defiance. Trade routes reopened under new agreements, fairer and equal. For the first time, the word freedom carried weight beyond Earth. But behind the triumph, humanity still remembered the ashes of their home. Cities rebuilt, but the memory of loss lingered. And while the stars celebrated their courage, humanity continued to prepare. They knew peace was fragile. One night, aboard the Eternal Resolve, the commander stood before the viewport, watching the blue swirl of Earth far away. A young officer approached him quietly. "Sir, the Council has accepted every reform we demanded. The galaxy finally respects us." The commander nodded slowly. "Respect is earned through fear and fairness both. We showed them what we could do. Now we must show them what we will become." The officer hesitated. "Do you think they'll ever forgive themselves for what they did?" The commander looked out into the void. "Forgiveness isn't for them to find. It's for us to give, but not yet." Far across the stars, rumors spread of new human technologies, ships powered by living cores, weapons that could bend gravity, and colonies thriving in places once thought impossible. Humanity had not just survived, they had transformed. Many species began to ally with Earth, seeking protection and partnership. Where once there had been isolation, now there was trust. The humans taught others how to build, how to adapt, and how to fight for their right to exist. The Council, humbled and fractured, began to rebuild under Earth's guidance. No longer did they sit above others as rulers. They stood among them as equals. The human commander was offered a permanent seat in the Council's hall, a symbol of unity. But he declined. "The stars are wide. Our duty is not to sit, but to stand. We came here to ensure justice, not power." The Council respected his choice. They renamed the central chamber after the fallen of Jupiter Station, engraving the names of every human lost that day. Centuries later, historians would call it the Day of Reckoning. Yet for the humans, it was simply the day they remembered who they were. They were the children of a small blue planet. They were the survivors of endless wars, the dreamers of impossible dreams. And when the universe turned against them, they did what they had always done. They fought back, not with chaos, but with resolve. The story of Earth's revenge spread across the cosmos like fire. Songs were sung, murals painted, and every world told the tale of the race that defied an empire and forced the stars to listen. In the farthest corner of the galaxy, where human colonies now flourished, children grew up hearing the legend. They learned that being human meant standing for something, even when the universe said you shouldn't. One young cadet once asked his instructor, "Why did Earth fight so hard when they could have walked away?" The instructor smiled softly. "Because walking away means letting injustice live another day. Humanity couldn't do that. It's not in our nature," and so generations passed. Humanity continued to expand not as conquerors but as guardians. They shared their knowledge freely, helped rebuild worlds broken by greed, and created alliances built on mutual strength. But somewhere deep within every human heart burned the same fire that had driven their ancestors through the darkest days. A promise whispered across the stars. Never again will Earth bow. And though peace now reigned, the galaxy never forgot the day when humanity rose from ashes and turned the Council's arrogance into awe. Because when the Council tried to bury Earth, they forgot one truth every human knew by instinct. Seeds grow best when buried deep. From those ashes, humanity became something the stars had never seen before. Not monsters, not savages, but survivors, dreamers, and protectors of all who sought justice. The Council's historians would later write, "The humans came to us as children, learned from us as students, and left us as teachers. And every time the Galactic Council met in their grand chamber, the memory remained, a silent reminder of the price of arrogance and the power of a world that